Hello once again and greetings to you. It is our pleasure to continue this transmission, this moment of your time. We do thank you for continuing to allow us to interact with you in this way. We do ask you to, as you ask, realize that it is your own higher consciousness with which you are having a dialogue. And as we reflect to you, you come to understand in a clear way the understanding that exists already at a higher level. We make available to you that soul blueprint of your highest embodiment. And so allow yourself to discover the truth that you have always known. You may proceed with any questions, any dialogues you would wish to share with us at this moment of your time.
I have a question.
Yes.
How can I learn to use my sexual energy in a different way than just dreaming and wishing and letting go of old trauma?
How do you use your sexual energy now?
I don't use it.
Yes. In the past you've used it in ways that you don't prefer anymore? Though the potential for it is that of both deeper connection with yourself, with the universe, and with the other. So the most clear thing to understand is that you are always pleasuring yourself. To touch your own body in the loving way that you would imagine a partner who truly adored you would touch you is a very helpful practice, as it enforces the vibration of self-love. You must be able to imagine the sort of love you desire before you can experience it. And therefore we ask all of you to become more specific in your consciousness about the sorts of partners you desire. Practice the emotional state of being totally adored, totally loved, and totally nurtured, totally understood without agendas. And this idea of without agendas is actually the most important part, for most of you understand the idea of love and the feeling of being loved quite clearly, yet this release of expectations is a truer experience of freedom. Yet many of you actually hold yourselves up to standards of behavior that exceed your actual potentiality. And so you never actually meet your real potentiality because you believe that you must be even more than you are. So release yourself from expectations of yourself first. Understand that you are only capable of doing what you are doing now and a bit more. Yes, don't beat yourself up in this sense when you do not meet what you suppose you need to be doing, for you are always in the exact right place, in the exact right time, in the exact right way. And when you have that ability to love yourself exactly as you are, without thinking you have to be somewhere else in order to get the love, you actually go much, much further in the direction of what you really desire. And this sort of frequency of your own self-balance and self-actualization is very key in relationship, because until you have that clear sense of you being enough on your own, being clear in yourself, being on your path, being developed, being firm in who you are, the idea of relating to another will always be a sort of imbalance or mismatch in which you attempt to fulfill part of your mission through the other person unknowingly, or vice versa, attempt to get this person more clearly on their track without understanding it. And so much of your sexuality is your creativity itself. Your sexuality and your creative energy to create your life, to create your being, to construct your personality in your life are intimately interrelated. And we are basically suggesting to you, be more creative in your life, be more creative with your life and how you see yourself, and construct yourself in that loving way, create yourself in that loving way, and then the reflection of sexual partners that are representative of love, a clear love, will be as well attracted to you. This is one level of the sexual energies we would like to discuss, and now there is another. And this is the active pleasuring of self with or without a partner, and the use of breath and focus to direct energy from the lower chakras into the higher chakras. Imagine that there is a ball of fire in your first two chakras that bounces back between those two and gets bigger and bigger as it does. And every time you breath in, that ball of fire expands. This is pure creative energy. This is pure life force energy. And if you make this ball of fire very big, just with your thoughts, just with your imagination and your focus about your own sexuality, you then send this energy through your navel and up through your spine to all of your body, imagining that this fire sends a wave of pleasure on the exhale breath up, way through the heart, way through the neck, through the back of the neck, through the brain. As you exhale, imagining that as much fire as you can access from down in the lower two chakras is pumped up. If you do this as your sexual energy is very, very excited, and you can sensationally, with your breath and with your focus, take that energy to rise to the lower chakras, this sexual energy will be much more creatively amplified. And again, as you take creative control over your life by releasing those old definitions of who you are, coming to a neutral place about your relationship to the universe and to everything that you are, you can use the sexual energy with your focus to focus upon those sorts of ideas of creative expression that are most exciting and most relevant to you. And as you focus on them using your sexual energy, which is again just the most physicalized form of creative energy, that creative flow will then ripple out into your life works. So your sexuality and your work in the world, they're intimately related. They're interwoven. And see them as together more. And you will be able to have a clearer and more profound relationship to the both of them. Make sure that you only choose those sorts of partners that understand this kind of an idea, this kind of practice, and this ability to move energy through all of the centers. Use sexuality in relation to all aspects of your life and all levels of your being. And this process will surely, exceedingly accelerate. Can we get more specific with you with any of the ideas that you would like to discuss about your own exploration of these ideas?
It was very clear. Thank you.
We do thank you, yes. We are available in that sense for any of your further sharings at this time.
What about the soulmate thing.
What about it?
Yeah, like...
Well,
how to find it?
Yeah.
how to find your soulmate?
Is it real for everybody? Yeah, for me?
Those who believe in that idea will have that experience.
Okay.
Though, truly, every soul is all that is in form. The one is in all, and all is one. So, every other person you meet in your life is a representation of that divine one, that infinite creative force in form. And when you meet every person as if they are your soulmate, knowing that they are in that moment, that everything that is here and now, in this moment, and every person that you meet is a representation of that divine one in that moment, you will be able to reflect love in clearer ways. And now, some of you will experience, in fact, most of you will. One moment. We have been speaking very much. We keep the channel very busy. His voice box is adjusting. Alright, so many of you will meet what you consider concurrent soul aspects of your oversoul. So, understand this idea of oversoul. Imagine that you as a soul are one circle. Within a bigger circle, that is the oversoul, and contained within that bigger circle are many other souls that are in different times, in different spaces, on different planets, yet some of them are at the same time on the same planet. Those are called your concurrent soul aspects. They are much like your past or future lifetimes. They have similar energies, similar frequencies. And in that same sense, you share the same past lives. Now, at even higher levels, when you continue to expand oversoul levels out, your oversoul is contained in a bigger oversoul. And that oversoul is contained in a bigger oversoul until you get to the level of all that is, in which all is one. And so really, there's only one soul expressing itself through all of the infinite souls that exist. Though if you happen to meet a concurrent soul aspect, they may appear like a soulmate or they may appear like an enemy. That is up to the specific soul agreement that the two of you have together, which is again something that you can rewrite by going to that blueprint level of reality, that template level of reality, and changing it with your will and with your active engagement with the subconscious. Though that can only arise in the moment that it is designed to arise. If you, again, treat yourself with the utmost love and let the force of love within you be your guiding principle, you will most certainly meet those many other soul aspects at the right time in the right way.
Okay, thank you.
Now understand that, again, with the idea of a loving partnership in that sense, that the reality that you experience out of the subconscious and unconscious programming of your soul level choosing. And so if you do not have that partnership now, there's a good reason for it. And you must thank your soul for being kind enough to function in the way that it does, for you to learn the lessons of your growth that are required in order for you to meet that sort of a partnership. The only clear way is self-love and active desire, to be able to own the things that you desire, to own them by fully desiring them and fully owning your deserving of them, knowing that this universe could not give you a desire that ought not be fulfilled by the universe. And so every desire you have is something that the universe is wanting to give you. The universe will not bring you to desire anything that you do not innately, inherently deserve. This is why we say own your desire. There is one loophole to the law of attraction, as we put it, and that is, if you want something so profoundly, you will bring it to you one way or another. And really, you will do that by attracting all of the parts of yourself that don't want that thing, attracting all of those soul components that are repelling that thing, seeing very clear manifestations of challenge and block along the way. But if you want it so profoundly, in the midst of all of those challenges, you will most certainly, absolutely get it. Though you have to really, truly, fully own your own desire. Want to want. You must want to want in order to have.
Okay.
Are there any other sharings you would like to bring into our space today?
Yes.
Yes, go on.
How can I balance the male and the female parts of myself?
At a soul level, they are balanced. At a personality level, they are a bit confused. So it is, in one way, bringing your personality in alignment with your own soul, and the rest will take care of itself. One way you can do this is to imagine going on a deep journey inside and meeting the male element and the female element of your own soul, knowing that you contain them both, and that as you use your imagination, you will surely meet those elements that most suit your development at this time. Another tool you would suggest is to picture in your imagination the man that you get along with the best and the man you get along with the worst, the woman you get along with the best and the woman you get along with the worst. And as you do this, write down all of the qualities about all of them. Write down all of the attributes, what you notice about them, what you like and what you don't. And then ask yourself, in which ways do you embody those same traits, those same attributes? And as you do, you will find, through this projection of your consciousness, the aspects of the male and the female that you are pushing away, and those that you have but do not have the power to discover due to misperception, basically. again, your soul is balanced in that regard. And your personality will come to balance as you come to see within yourself both of those elements and aspects of the loving embrace of the feminine and the strong focus of the masculine. Now, these are helpful tools, though a bit of advice is to allow yourself to soften more. Soften even more. As there may have been some sort of idea that you could soften only enough to then return to your focus. Though you may find, if you really allow yourself to fully be in that vulnerable, creative state of the pure feminine energy, that the masculine energy within you will actually get stronger as well. In other words, by limiting one of those energies for the sake of helping the other, you actually hurt them both. And so the best way to embody the balance of those energies is to allow the energy, allow the polarity that most wants to express itself in a given moment and in a given phase of your life to fully take you, to fully embody through you. And all of you go through periods of being more in the masculine active phase and more in the feminine nurturing, relaxing phase. It is both important to allow all of those expressions, to not think that you have to be just as much as one as you are of the other in a moment. For the one that is seeking its most powerful expression will include the other when you give it all of your focus. Can you play with that?
Yes.
Do you have any further questions about these ideas?
For the moment, not.
All right, we do. Thank you. Oh, all right, yes.
How can I let go of the feeling that I'm sometimes not balanced in my life and switch from conscious state to an unconscious state? How can I find more balance of my wants and what I'm doing? How can I find the balance?
What happens when you feel unconscious?
I fall in. It feels like I fall down, and it feels like that I'm even not unconscious about being unconscious. It's even getting more that I'm conscious about being unconscious.
Though if you are conscious about being unconscious, it must mean that you are actually being conscious. You cannot be conscious of being unconscious. Mm-hmm. To be conscious implies that you are conscious. So you could be conscious of some level of disconnection. You're realizing that you are becoming disconnected, yet from the very act of realizing that you are in the way of your own connection, you make yourself more connected. So in those moments, what level of you is operating that makes you feel less conscious?
lot from the past, like the loop thing. It feels
Yes.
like a loop that always
Yes.
repeats and comes back, and that loop brings old fears and old pain, and it brings me in the moment to things I don't want to do, but I need to do to forget. And
You need to do to forget the loop of thought.
yeah.
So, again, as we have shared with you through the channel the other day of your time, the aspect of memory. When you experience this thought loop, stop doing what the thought loop tells you to do. Take your focus inward and ask yourself, when did that sort of thinking pattern, that sort of energy pattern that brought you to feel a certain way and think in a sort of paranoid way, when did that emerge? And bring yourself through time and space back to that moment to re-experience it and change it with your consciousness until that sort of thought form, that base thought form, that base insecurity is transformed by your own creative will and your own higher consciousness together. Now as well, realize that you are always connected and that part of your soul's mission is the transformation of these negative patterns. The negative patterns themselves are no indication that you are in any way disconnected. When these sorts of emotional charges emerge, it only means that you are healing and transforming the piece of planetary density, as you call it, that you have signed up as a soul to transform. And so, instead of making that experience of an old pattern emerging something wrong or bad, again come to the point of clarity by neutralizing your own definition of that experience and thanking that experience for being a part of your transformation. Use that experience of something old coming up to show you that you are in a state where you are being asked to integrate a part of you from the past that you have allowed to become distorted. And by becoming aware, and by becoming able to connect yourself across time and space to the origin point of these thought patterns, you will eventually dissolve every single negative thought pattern. But you first must come to be neutral about the thought patterns themselves, to realize that much like a computer, there are many programs and they're all installed, and sometimes when you reboot your system, certain programs that have seemed to have gone away come back, come alive, and they slow the system down, and so you simply must uninstall them. Your computer really doesn't need that many programs. Eventually you will be beyond the need of any program at all, and you will be in a pure consciousness state without the need for belief. And until then, well, there's many changes to occur on your planet, so best to uninstall as many programs as you can and simply put in the good ones that make you feel good and confident in yourself. Can you play with that?
Yeah, thank you so much for reminding.
Oh, we do, thank you, yes. Now, we, for some reason, are showing to the channel the image of you with a seashell or a series of seashells, collecting them for some purpose. Has this occurred, or is this something that has yet to occur? Do you remember an instance of collecting many seashells?
Yes, the group or me?
You. Particular you.
You mean seashells from the sea?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love collecting them.
Yes. And what do you feel as you are doing this?
Pure love and connection to nature, to
Yes.
myself.
Where do you suppose those seashells have come from?
I suppose that they're very old and come from different places.
In the ocean.
Yeah, in the water.
Beneath the water. One metaphor for your unconscious, your subconscious, is the water, the depths of the water. So instead of thinking of these old thought forms as something bad, whenever they come up, imagine those moments you've been collecting seashells. And every time you are collecting your thoughts, you are collecting different seashells. You are documenting the trail of old debris from times before and finding the beauty in them. Remember these moments. Remember those states of pure contemplation. And take that sort of an energy, that sort of an active curiosity towards your own process of processing itself. For again, the only fear that arises in clearing out these patterns is that if you look at them close enough, you'll discover that they're actually true. If you, again, come to choose the fundamental belief that reality itself is neutral, you can decipher any one of these thought forms and bring it as well to that neutral state and strip it away of its power if it is not something that you prefer. So be active in your pursuit of discovering your own negative beliefs and returning to that state of gratitude and curiosity whenever they surface, for it is almost always a very good thing.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Yes, yes.
I have another question.
Yes.
Refer to my work where I'm at the moment not sure how to continue.
All right.
I had like one way, but I try always, since often I try other ways, but there's not so much resonance. And I'm not sure if it's my resistance or my not believing, or if it's just not my way on how I can get clear about it.
What kind of work are you doing?
My main work is body work.
All right. And what are these changes you have implemented to the way you're doing it?
Some enlargements and somehow kind of applying a bit different stuff.
Yes.
I mean, my way, which is working, is a lot through my hands, and everything else I try to do is without my hands. And it seems like that's not so much.
You attempt to do what without your hands?
Different kinds, like more the kind of finding the whole situations, finding out what the person needs, maybe on top of my work, which I do, applying other stuff with it.
All right.
Yeah.
What are those other things, though, in particular?
In particular, one thing is like nutritional supplements.
Yes.
And the other thing is like a new way of, it's called light medicine, where it's a bit like acupuncture but without needles.
Yes.
And like patches which you use which you put on different places on the body, which is like enhancing the energy flow.
Yes.
From a profound level. Just like,
and this is very exciting and very effective, yes?
It is exciting and effective, but in my clients, I just get a lot of resistance, like feedback.
Oh, all right.
The people I attract, my clients, let's say.
And you've been working with them before you have adopted these new methods?
Yes.
And can you save the new methods for the newer clients that are more representative of the direction that your work is headed?
Yes, sure.
Because fundamentally it is not helpful to offer something that is not wanted. And as much as this may be helpful, if the clients themselves don't have the primary ingredient in healing, which is belief, the method itself will not work.
Yes, so it's just my belief or my... it's just like...
It's their belief.
Their belief.
It's their belief. That is the primary ingredient in healing. They have come to you because they believed the thing that you are offering would support them. And it does, because it is a specific type of healing with specific intentions and so on and so forth, but it would not get to where it goes if they did not believe and you did not believe together and meet in that realm of creative energy through your belief, through your affirmation of the possibility. And so you offer something that is not representative of their true beliefs, and because their beliefs contradict what you are offering, it cannot go as deep. Yet if you practice this with people who are open-minded, who are willing, who are curious and ready, you will have different results. And if you do not project the assumption of a fear response to the other, their energy will change more easily. In other words, be aware, yes, of their response, though first, before you meet someone, pretend that they will be open-minded. Just pretend and imagine what it would feel like for them to be fully open, fully receptive, fully clear, fully connected to you. Imagine that. And if your result is different, then meet that. Though, the more that you emotionally prepare yourself for a positive experience, the more positive that experience will become. So sometimes we see your energy influencing things in a negative way because you have had an experience of something not being effective, and so you fear so strongly that the same thing will occur again, and therefore it does. Do you understand?
Yes.
So be open in that regard. Be open in that way. And now, you will receive more intuitive information when you attract more open clients and realize that the information is subject to the client's own belief and their own definition of the information that you receive. So before you apply your own definition, for example, you see the image of a monkey while working on a client. To you, the monkey may mean playfulness, while to them, the monkey may mean primal energy. You do not know what their definition of that symbol is until you share with them the symbol that you are shown. So be more in a creative dialogue than in a sort of diagnosis when you become more intuitive in your work. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you very much.
We do thank you as well.
Thank you as well. I have a question.
Yes, yes.
Can a spider put poison in you?
Yes.
And what is it I have to be aware of or cautious to deal with it?
A spider has put poison in you. Do you mean the tick or the spider?
I mean both.
Both, okay. Well, metaphysically, this is a sort of teaching about the web of creation. The spiders tell a story, they weave a web, they build an art piece that is a home and a connective tissue of sorts. It springs forth from them. And to you in your world, they often represent, while they again represent something a bit different for every person, this sort of web of connectivity. And so when a spider comes in this more negative sense, it is reflective of a sort of definition you have about reality, that reality is in some way attempting to harm you. A sort of idea that there may be a negative force in the web of reality. There is not any venom to which there is not an antivenom. Some souls have the experience of deadly bites from insects and animals. We understand that for your great fortune, you do not have those in your area now. When a soul would attract such a thing, it is as well a reflection of that fear-based energy, that fear-based vibration that is attracted to them through a natural sort of force. Now, the healing of this is to believe in the great power, the great benevolent force of healing in the natural web of creation, to view the web of creation as a purely positive thing that is feeding back to you what you are a match to at a level of frequency and vibration. As you allow yourself to connect more with a greater cosmic force or network and bring that energy into your being, you can heal yourself with your focus and with light energies and frequencies. We suggest to you the use of what you consider bioelectric medicine, different sorts of things such as Rife machines and body resonance machines to scan and treat your body with sound and frequency, as well as sound healing and toning to help your body from where it is at now. This is a level of healing that will be fueled by both your belief in its efficiency and your willingness to believe that you are supported by a positive force, a connective force within the universe that loves and cares for you. Can you play with that?
Yes, I can play with that. Can it be singing too?
Yes, yes. Again, the singing is a very actually powerful tool for you. And so sing as much as you can. And again, as we have suggested earlier, much with the sexuality, the things that you focus upon as you sing, the things that you imagine, including a healthier body, become attracted to you when you sing with that intention. So do sing quite a lot.
Thank you.
We do thank you very much, yes. All right.
Last year I had a very special experience with my brother.
Yes.
And I really felt so connected to the whole universe like I never did before, and it was like coming back to one and to source, and I feel so connected from this point, and also when I was a child to those 3 stars. I think it's the Orion or the Pleiades. Yes. I don't know it exactly.
The Orion.
Mm-hmm. Can you maybe tell me something has to need to me. I think we are all connected to everything. But
yes, you are.
We are all
yes.
unique human beings, so we all maybe have some more connection to those or that ways, or to those or that planets or star systems.
Orion, yes, and your connection to the Orion system that initiated in your life at that time, in a deeper way, is to the light of the Orion future, of the balanced victory and peace that comes after the greatest conflict. And the Orion future enlightenment is one of the greatest victories and greatest celebrations of bliss in this universe, because it has arisen from the greatest contrast of the great suffering that those of that world have endured. And in this way you are bringing this energy of great victory, great peacefulness into your own reality, as your soul brings those codes, that pure energy of a non-resistant state, into this world. And so you can use that connection to the Orion to have the strength of the warrior, while the peacefulness that allows that strength to be directed inward to spiritual power. Now, if you would really wish, you could send yourself beyond this world through a dreamtime state, gazing up at those stars and meeting your other soul aspects in that world. They would be very delighted to meet you and teach you this in a more manifest way. Can you play with that?
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, we do thank you, and we will open the space at this moment for one final sharing with you. So do speak up and be bold if you wish.
If nobody has a question, can you maybe guide us through last meditation?
Alright.
And
I have a question.
okay.
Alright.
It's really hard for me to decide for what I want to do next.
Yes.
What I should do next. So I really cannot decide. Yeah.
What is the primary thing that you would like to experience most of?
Living in nature.
Alright. And
living in community.
community, nature. That brings you the most joy.
I guess.
You guess.
I don't know.
That brings you to feel the most safe.
Safe?
Safe. In community, in nature.
Most joy, I would say.
Most joy. Alright.
Most connectedness.
Most connected. Most joy. And what sorts of qualities do you seek in the people and the places that you would prefer?
Ready to create something new.
Alright. Innovative. Open to new possibilities.
I mean, one aspect.
And do you have some ideas of the places that you may wish to go?
I mean, I kind of also, money-wise, I feel I have to stay in Germany, but...
You have to, you must?
I mean, I just built a company, and now when I would leave it, I would just leave all the money.
Alright.
But at the same time, I don't feel really well in Germany. So I'm kind of torn between, I mean, for the money I would stay, but at the same time I feel like...
Though you may be open to have other sources of money flowing to you in places where you feel happier.
It doesn't really seem to work.
Alright.
So far.
Well, don't you suppose you could run an aspect of your business from afar, from abroad?
I mean, it's an option, but I would have to ask my parents for this, and I don't want to really too involved into this.
Alright. So you are choosing to stay here, choosing to remain here, choosing to amass more resources. And in that way, you have many possibilities for community, though do you wish to create this community or go to one that exists, or simply find a new place to be? Which of these ideas feels most exciting?
All of them, if I just feel like I'm in a good flow there, and can bring together the money and community living.
Well, we say primarily that you are your own community. If you phonetically feel into this word, community. So, you are the center of your own community, whoever you are, wherever you are. And whether you live with them all, or whether they are simply the people that you love to connect with the most, they are your community because you have shared vibrations, shared interests, shared ideas, and agree to share time and creative energy in this way. You define those who come to you by how you define yourself. And you define your relationship and your exchanges or transactions by how you value yourself. And so your journey is in discovering how those around you are reflecting your own relationship with who you are. And in this journey, we would say that now, as you get clearer in what you do prefer, the rest is almost more dependent on how you choose to relate to yourself. For any one of these options that you have outlined as possibilities will be good representations of a positive unfolding when you see yourself in a very positive, very balanced, very coherent light throughout that, without overinflating one aspect to compensate for another, having a great integrity in all of yourself and your very being as one who is capable, balanced, and powerful in his creations.
but very concretely, should I go to Peru, Guatemala or Portugal?
Very concretely, all right. Which of these do you feel a strongest affinity in your heart for? In other words, imagine now, briefly, 3 paths open up from your own heart, with the energies from each of these locations streaming from that place into your own heart. Start with one, going to the idea of the Guatemala, and feel that energy received. Notice the emotional quality it brings, the vibration it brings. Does it feel new? Does it feel old? Does it feel fresh? Does it feel representative of that idea we have discussed? And focus on the next path, the energy from the Peru, coming to you, into your body. What feeling, what sensation does it activate? What quality, what image comes to you? And does it represent that idea that we have discussed? And finally, a third path, bringing in the energy from the idea of Portugal. And again, noticing the quality, the feeling, the peculiar and particular way that this idea excites you. And again, weighing, does this represent that idea of my high excitement? Of my idea, of my self within community? Did you find a particularly more powerful heart activation from one of those paths?
Just that it makes sense first to go to Portugal because it's closer.
Yes. And so it's more exciting because it's more accessible. Because it's essentially equal in its value to the others, yet it is more accessible, and therefore it is more fundamentally exciting because energy follows the path of least resistance. And so if something is equally exciting and more accessible, that is always the more representative path of your highest excitement. So, remember not to push yourself too far. Remember that oftentimes the most exciting things are right next door. And as you proceed, notice that anything could arise that takes you in a different path. Though the purpose is not the destination. The purpose is the unfolding of passion and joy along the journey. And as you again realize yourself to be the center of those great ideas, those great unfoldings, those great relations, for them all to be a representation of how you experience yourself as your source, you will more clearly embody that truest frequency of unconditional love in the way that is most exciting. And we do see many, many opportunities for you along this path.
Yeah, thank you.
we have the image running to the channel of horses, perhaps, of you riding horses. Does this represent anything to you?
Riding horses.
We're not suggesting that this is something for you to do unless it's really exciting. Though this may mean something. Alright, maybe we are just supposed to reflect that to you for the moment. And at another point you may contemplate what this may mean for you.
I mean, I guess mostly means not Guatemala because I don't see the horses.
Alright. Though again, remember, if all of these opportunities are of equal value, the one that is closest, the one that is most successful is usually the one that is most representative of that highest excitement. This isn't always the case. Perhaps you are not seeing what makes one of these paths more valuable. Yet continue to measure it in this way, by focusing upon that destination, that projected future timeline, and feeling how your body responds. And your heart will indicate which one is the most relevant one. And keep in mind this idea of riding the horse. It could mean perhaps that there is more support for you, that there is someone supporting you, taking you along the ride. So as you put your own ideas out there, know that the creative interplay between these two and three paths will change. That as you share your idea, share your impulse with the universe, that other people, other components that will influence your preference will arise. So allow the dance to occur and know that when you make a decision, it will be the right decision. That you cannot miss any cosmic appointments, and that there is value to gain from all of the paths that you could choose. So while they have different end results, one is not primarily better than the other.
Still hard to choose. Yeah, thank you.
That's alright. You don't need to choose in this moment. Realize that choice only happens at the most important point. So until that point arises, allow yourself to rest in the feeling of not knowing. Allow yourself to surrender to that quality emotionally of indecision and feel the greater trust that a bigger force is supporting you in directing you to that truest path of your highest excitement. And when you listen to the little excitements in the moment, and you bring yourself back and back to that energy of joy and appreciation, the clearer answer will come when it is the right timing. Perhaps the horse you may be riding knows the destination better than you. Can you play with that?
Yes.
Alright. Can you be a little bit more playful, a little bit more free? Free of attachment to how it needs to be. Open to the universe throwing a curveball. All we can say is be very open, be very open to all of the possibilities. Be more playful with the dance of life, and the dance of life will reflect to you more creative and joyous ways that you can learn to navigate. It has been a great pleasure for us to meet all of you in this way, to interact with you and to reflect to you the truth that you hold within you as your fundamental self. Again, let's reiterate the purpose of this transmission was clarity. The clarity to be able to revert back to that base point, to that point of neutrality, to the perspective of witnessing, to realize that anything you experience as negative is based on a perception, based on a belief that is optional, that is neutral energy. And as you apply this principle, whenever any sort of negativity, whenever any sort of doubt, whenever any sort of feeling of disconnection arises, remember that this is a fundamentally neutral experience and that what you are gazing at is a reflection of your relationship to yourself. You will, with practice, begin to see exactly why what you are experiencing is the present experience. You will be able to take responsibility for that creation, and responsibility in the sense of being able to respond in a coherent and grateful, and we will emphasize this, grateful way. For when you give gratitude to the universe, when you offer gratitude, that gratitude will be amplified, will be expanded to you as the gift in return to the universe. And we thank you very profoundly in the same way. We extend our great and total gratitude to you in the same way for allowing this transmission to occur this moment of your time. It has allowed us to expand in our relationship to and our understanding and exploration of all that is. And for this, we are truly and fully deeply appreciative and thankful. We will see you in other ways, for as we leave the channels, body in this way, we remain with you in the space, and we remain near you as your vibrational level has increased. And you can, again, bring your vibration even higher again. And we'll meet you in a different way. In your own dreams, your own meditations, and your own experiences of reflection. We love you dearly, and we would be happy to continue to support you in whatever ways you see fit. Again, the pleasure is ours, and we shall see you later.